Mr. Aadland, you have falsely claimed that the 2020 presidential election was rigged. Let's listen to that.
The 2020 election, it was rigged. Absolutely rigged. If you do enough looking into it, I think you'll be convinced.
That claim that the election was rigged is false, and it's also dangerous. That lie led people to storm the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. It led to the deaths of Americans. That lie has also led to death threats against election workers here in Colorado, ongoing threats to people's lives. Should that false claim, that dangerous claim, disqualify you in the eyes of voters?
Well, I think your statement is a bit extreme, Kyle, and I don't think that to make it a black or white issue with something so complex and nuanced is justice to the issue. I've called into question, just like Hillary Clinton and Stacey Abrams and hundreds of Democrat legislators did in the 2016 elections, that our elections are secure. But in every speech, including this one, I talk about looking forward. I haven't asked that we overturn the 2020 elections. This is not about President Trump, who I make this about a concern for the American citizens and the integrity of our constitutional republic. And this should be a nonpartisan issue, that we have a dialogue. And your rhetoric, in fact, makes it very hard for us to have a dialogue that comes to the solution that makes our election secure.
Well, pointing out the fact that the claim is false is not rhetoric. That's just a fact. Pointing out that it's gotten people killed is also just a fact. You additionally said that the election had been undermined by fraud, corrupted, and we now have an illegitimate government in power. You believe that we have an illegitimate government in power?
I've nuanced my perspective and my statements, recognizing the divisiveness of that language. So I've evolved. I'm not a politician. I started that speech I gave was the first speech I gave in the U.S. Senate race, and I recognize the divisiveness of that language.
Have you changed your beliefs, or have you just stopped saying it out loud because it's gotten you in trouble?
No, I don't think this is a partisan issue. I've acknowledged that Biden is the legitimate president, and I'm looking forward. What can we do in a nonpartisan way to restore trust in the institution of our elections? We do have to get away from divisive rhetoric. I've become much more savvy and sensitive to my constituents, and tens of millions of Americans have concerns about the elections. So it's the question of what are we going to do to restore that confidence? We have to move beyond the divisiveness, the hatred, the vitriol, but it's not just Republicans. Both parties have called into question the integrity of our elections, and it's problematic. So what are we going to do about it?
And just to clear this up, you do or you do not believe that America has an illegitimate government in power? I know you've stopped saying it, but do you believe it?
No, I don't know. If there was enough fraud or if there were enough issues. The cover-up of the Hunter Biden laptop has me deeply concerned. That alone could have thrown out, or changed the course of the election.
That's different than a rigged election.
Well, we could call that an aspect of rigged, but I don't know. It's too complex for me to get down. What it does is there's enough concern for us to work together and to make sure these elections are secure.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Aadland. Ms. Pettersen?
To compare Hillary Clinton talking about access to voting rights and what we need to do to fix our system to Trump and what he did to try to overthrow the government with a violent insurrection is just completely out of line. We are looking to the future right now. We need people who are not conspiracy theorists and election deniers, who are going to support our Constitution and vote to vote for whoever wins in 2024. We need confidence that the people running across the country are going to put our democracy first.
One last question on this before we move on. If you lose this race, will you accept the result?
Yes.
If you lose this race, will you accept the result?
I will accept it, yes.
Thank you.